Hello and welcome to Dimecast. Not to be confused with Dimecast live stream, which was a live stream that we did several months ago. This is the Dimecast podcast. Here is the first episode, and I'm joined here today with 3 people from Black Dime Cabaret. I have
Caitlin.
Patrick. Pat.
Joel.
Joel.
cool.
Yes.
Hello, Joel.
Not Joel.
Not Sir Joel.
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 That's Radness.
And how's everybody going today?
Well, as you might not have, well, actually, as you probably have noticed, Luke's not here at the moment, but he was with us earlier, like about 2 hours ago. We were actually recording some...
We were just doing some bass.
Yeah, we were recording some bass parts, but
I was
he
there
had to
for
leave
half of.
earlier because he lives way further away than any of us, so
It's true.
yeah.
That is true.
Yes.
He's very far.
He actually lives on the moon. Just kidding.
Yes, he does. So he has to come down here on a spaceship.
Oh yeah, it's a whole big
Yeah.
shabam.
He parachutes down.
He does.
That's what he does.
True. Through the stratosphere.
Dangerous.
He wears flame. He wears
Alright.
flame-resistant clothing.
But
Yes.
yeah, so that's
Yes.
why Luke's not here, but hopefully he joins us next episode.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Luke. Sorry, Luke.
No.
We're here to talk about what are we here to talk about, Joel?
Me, because I'm the most self-entitled person ever.
That is true.
Yay!
Yes, we are deep into recording Act 2, which is the second album that we're going to be releasing later this year. And Joel has been recording some drums
I have been,
for
indeed.
that past few weeks.
Cool. We've done like 3 sessions so far, and we have 1 left to go. And yeah, coming along well, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this episode is just going to be all about drums, all about Joel and how he's been going with the recording process. Drums is always kind of the first thing that we record because I always feel like it lays the foundation for everything else that will come. And until we have drums recorded, I always feel like it's
You just can't
hard.
record anything else until that's just done first.
Literally nothing can be done until drums. So
Except that's kind of what we did for like Act 1.
yes. Do we want to talk about that?
We might talk about that. Actually, should we talk about how...
Yeah, sure.
What was our process for Act 1 anyway when we were doing the drums?
Yeah, what was our process?
I don't
Wait, look
quite...
at me.
Like,
I don't quite remember though, because I remember there were some issues with it that like I had to like rectify
Well,
with this one going
Yeah.
forward.
Didn't we all did like everyone did a take together,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah, we
I
all
meant,
recorded at
like-
the same time, didn't we?
I meant more like how we arranged the demo. Because like this time around, we'll probably talk about that later on in the podcast.
That's just true.
well, the demo was kind of the same, wasn't it?
But did he end up using musical to put them?
I did. I think I did use musical
remember.
for some of
Yeah, I
them,
feel like that was the case.
and then like I moved on from that to use Studio One instead.
yeah, for
with
this
Superior
time
Drama.
around, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
Okay, well, do we want to start with pre-production?
yeah,
like
let's talk about
our
pre-production.
pre-production
We'll go through
process.
the process.
Well, it would
Trust
pretty
the
much be that like, well, once you have that initial version done, and then you would have all the tempo maps and all that, all the time signature maps and all that, blah blah blah. I would then listen to it and be like, just imagine where the drums would be going in my mind, and then maybe I'd have like Studio One or musical, whatever it is that I'd be using. I would just kind of sit there and like, where do I want the drums to go during this point, from here to here, like here's section A, here's section B, all that kind of stuff, and then like sort of like setting a foundation, so to speak. So like this is section where I'm like playing snare full time or half time, whatever. Just getting the feel done first, and then like I can look at things like dynamics, what my mental vocabulary is in terms of like grooves and fills and all that, and then we can just sort of discuss that in our rehearsals as well. Like, here's my idea. What do you think of this? Does it work, or am I just being way too in my own head about it?
Yeah.
Which is a thing that happens to all of us as musicians and artists. Am I being too in my own head about this?
Yeah. I always think it's good. Like, I like to hear the drums being played versus like just being programmed. So I always like being in the room with the drums. I mean, we kind of got into a bad habit with Act 2, especially, of like trying to like puppeteer you into.
Yeah,
No.
I tried to address that.
Yeah, it definitely
Like-
happened. Yeah.
Want to be able to do my own parts as well, but that's been all sorted as well. So, I mean, well, like
Yeah.
it's good to have like your opinion.
process.
It's good to have your opinions on it, and like I'm trying to like ask you, all of you as much as possible, like how is this sounding to you? Just so I'm like not trying to stroke my own ego when it comes to drums and all that, because it's easy to do that when you're a drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, so like in terms of, so you know, for Act 1 through the pre-production sort of process, we were like, you were using MuseScore to sort of program the drums, and then from my understanding was, so you would write the MIDI, export the MIDI, Brandon would then put that into Superior Drummer and Studio One. But now that you've actually kind of switched between like going straight into Studio One yourself and
Yeah.
also just programming it through Superior Drummer 3, using Luke's E-kit as well, right?
Yeah, of course.
How's that, like, are there any, like, significant changes, like, how do you feel about how much that's actually helped you write the parts?
It sounds more like an actual drum kit this time. I'll give it that.
Fair enough.
But it's good though, because I can actually just choose the different drum sounds that I want and just make it somewhat close to what my kit sounds like. Not
Yeah,
completely, but it would just be somewhat similar to it. Because then what I would do is like once the parts have been given the green light, I would then just sit down on the kit and just try and get it as note for note as I can until recording day, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how it's been for this one.
Yeah, I mean, having them in, like, being able to hear the drums sounding like drums with all the velocity and stuff is definitely, like, a really good thing.
Yeah.
Because that was another problem where when you were giving them in MuseScore or whatever, they were, like, completely...
I would put dynamics into MuseScore as well. It just doesn't
but
have
then
the best
when we're
dynamic
listening
controls.
to it, it, like, sounds... It's, like... It's hard because, like, it sounds so bad.
Well, it was more like, I remember especially in Act 1, right, when we had, like, it's just every single time you're doing, like, a cymbal swell, and it's just, like, crash
Yeah.
instead.
You could hear every single like crash just coming in and does
instead
not
of,
sound like a swell at all.
Instead of a cymbal, but I think
Instead of
yeah, but I think as well. I mean, I think even when you're using MuseScore, like with the velocity, it's because you weren't using Superior Drummer, right? So the velocity layers, so you know how hard you're hitting it or like how hard you're programming it would be different, like onto Superior Drummer, right? Like the sound of the snare would be lighter or heavier than
yeah,
what you would have
We'll take
programmed
that
in
into account.
MuseScore.
Yeah, so I feel like at the
Partly why.
moment we've got it with when you can get like a more realistic drum sound in I can't say P's because it's like making it-
Pre-production. That's a lot of P's, I know.
Yes.
Don't pop the mic while you're at it.
Yes. Yeah, I can't say any P's in this one. Yeah, when we get a really good sound in pre-production, it just like it makes everything flow better because we know how it's going to sound in the studio when you start playing it, and we're not surprised by anything.
Definitely.
Which I like to go into the studio just with
It just helps.
everything.
It
as
helps
good
with
as possible.
communication as well,
Yeah.
because then we can just make sure we're on the same page
Yeah,
too.
because you might be playing something that you're playing it, and it should sound good, like on the actual kit. But then,
And like I'm the
when
only
we're
one
hearing it-
who's heard the part and no one
Yeah.
else has until recording day.
Yeah, and we're just hearing like a bad.
And like you don't want to make those
weird
decisions
part.
on the day.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely like some of those, especially those cymbal hits or like those snare hits where it's just like these are meant to be ghost notes, but then it's just like, it sounds like you're just outright hitting it.
yeah. Like
but
you can
yeah.
make a big difference, even just those small little differences in how you play it.
Definitely.
Well, that's pre-production. Then
Yeah.
so yeah, we've been in the studio. We've been at the Loud. Oh, can I say it?
Loud
That-
noise estate.
The Loud Noise
Noise
Estate,
Yeah.
which is.
Did you just like forget it or did
No,
you?
I was just wondering if we should say it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that should be okay. We can
Okay.
just bleep it.
I mean,
Okay.
I did forget to bleep it.
does anyone in our country like care enough to like come be like,
Maybe
oh,
not.
I wonder if they're going to be in here today? We won't be.
Hey, it's free exposure for them.
You won't
I
find.
mean,
Yes.
they don't
More
even.
clients.
You guys don't even know when we're. Oh wait a second. Hang on a second. Sorry.
Maybe we should stop this train of thought.
No, I was like, wait a second. I'd like put it up on Discord one day. I was like, hey, look, it's Brandon.
Yeah.
And a bunch of dogs
Oh,
on top
yeah.
of him.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
they will never know. They don't know when our next
Never.
one is.
It's
But
true.
It's July.
Hey,
Oh, it's not.
No, it's June.
Anyway, so
Yeah, so we've been at
We'll
the
just cut this whole
Loud.
bit, but anyway.
We've been at the Loud Noise Estate, which is the third studio we've been in to record.
yeah.
And yeah, just how have you been finding the process of recording drums on this album at the studio?
I've always would like the last 2 sessions. I would come home and just be the most exhausted I've ever been doing gigs. They've been going well. Just to give them the credit.
Yeah.
But like I would just be like the next day.
Yeah, it's been pretty intense.
Playing drums for like 8 hours until you just get good takes.
Yeah,
pretty
and these
much.
guys have been pretty brutal.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a good
Like,
way.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
Like this,
'Cause
the drums are sounding so
because
good.
I get it as like when you're like a sole trader or freelancer, you just want to make sure the client is happy with it, and like you shouldn't have to go back
Yeah,
to make you pay more money and all that.
Yeah, like definitely like listening because like I'm the one that's I'm just editing the drum timing here and there, and it's like I feel like the last session that you did was really really solid. Like the first 2 were good, but this one like I didn't feel like I needed to change much. It was really good. So that means it's we're getting really good results. I'm
glad to hear that.
From this one, yeah.
I had like a year of drum lessons before going into this one, and just fine tuned the
Never
crap
played
out of my sense
drums
of time.
before then. Only a year playing the drum kit. Look,
Because you were self-taught, weren't you?
I was self-taught for like I've been playing for like coming up on 10 years later this year. Been self-taught for like the first big chunk, like 8 years or something.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Wait, so did you take lessons at all?
Not until recently.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I was
I know
taught.
this shit.
I was taught by like music teachers at high school and all that
Okay.
when I started. So
Yeah, yep.
most of it was just for YouTube.
YouTube's
That's,
pretty good.
that's how it is with musicians these days.
Isn't that like
Yeah.
how like the Polyphio?
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah.
What's his name? I don't remember his
Tim
name.
Henson.
Yeah, Tim Henson. Like, didn't he say it was like, yeah, I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and then he was just like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, some people are really good at teaching themselves. Some people benefit more with the teacher. So
Yeah.
if you can like teach yourself, and YouTube is
Yeah.
like,
It's just the
solid.
one thing that you have to work around is you're more likely to develop bad habits and not realize it.
yeah,
That was the case with me.
Yeah.
you just need to be quite self-aware and self-critical about like your playing practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you don't know like how it is you're supposed to be critical unless you
Yeah,
have
exactly.
like that teacher there. I didn't know I was doing double strokes wrong for like 8 years until my teacher corrected me.
yeah.
So, I mean, compared to the last 2 studios, like, how's the recording environment in terms of like, does it feel like markedly different, like compared to when we were at Ginger versus when we were at
Well, what do you mean by that in terms of? Can you elaborate?
like how prepared do you feel, like, or like how comfortable do you feel like when you're actually like tracking drums?
I feel prepared this time because I usually like after the parts are written, I give myself like a week or something just to practice it every day and just make sure it's as note for note as possible.
Yeah.
Which a good thing about that is like you just like it makes you well, I've been forcing myself to stick with vocabulary that I already know, and you just don't and you just can't really like overscope it because you won't really have time. So it's like kind of forcing me to serve the song and all that. So just get it as note for note as possible, and then like I'm feeling more confident on the day.
And
Because
what
like
is-
we weren't that confident when we did Incantations last one. were we?
That was like no preparation at all.
That is bizarre.
I mean, Luke
The
just
way
like
that went.
Luke just wrote his like bass flying on the day, and he's like, "Yep,
Yeah.
that's good." To be fair, it's good. It was good.
Turned out well.
Yeah, but that was we like spent.
I felt
Dude.
prepared enough that day.
There's gonna be a tangent. But do you want to talk about the whole verse 1 hip hop trap beat thing that we spent like so long trying to do?
I don't remember.
So it was the bit at the start of the song.
Wait, what song? Is it-
Incantations.
is it like-
So you remember how like
Oh, is this the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba part?
yeah, we spent so long trying to like work out like a drum beat for that first verse. The ghostly figures through.
I just sang that.
Yeah. Well, that took forever.
It was really fun to sing to though. Like that felt like so much fun. I will say, because there was like so much like, oh my god, hectic times.
Just went trap.
Which I feel like is always a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah,
isn't that
I mean-
kind of like Knock Knock 2?
Knock Knock 1, Knock Knock 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we do a bit of that? A bit of that sparkle? That, you know, tinkly, tankly?
This has gone nowhere. Okay, let's
Okay, well, speaking of Ginger Studios and the recording of Act 1, when we recorded Act 1, we had a very different process to what we have been doing with Act 2.
Yeah, what we're used to as well.
Yeah, when we record Act 1, obviously, James, who was the engineer for those sessions, he likes to record everybody in the band all at once.
do a whole band take.
Whole band take.
Yeah.
Versus, I think the way we like it is to do everything separately. And the way we did Knock Knock and the way we're doing Act 2, everybody's recording things separately.
I get his philosophy on that though, because like trying to get a take that feels like you're playing as a band.
Yeah,
so to
I mean,
speak.
for certain
Yeah.
bands, that's
Yeah,
that's
and from a
definitely good.
productivity point as well, if you can just like knock out each instrument at the same time,
Yeah.
as opposed to doing each of them individually.
Yeah. So,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the weird thing, like, with, as like, because for rock, right, and like, because I've been doing the drum timing stuff, it's like, most people, there's that whole like, well, Brandon, you'd know, but like, there's that whole debate of whether you should like quantize drums or like, you should have the drums just follow the drum timing really, and it's tough for this music though, specifically because of like we're expecting to like we're expecting to put a whole bunch of layers and stuff afterwards, and so some of the stuff we would have written and everything for that,
It just has to be tight. Like,
it's just
it
like
has to be.
we'd have to redo so much of it.
Yeah.
Especially with Act 1, that was the problem where we'd done all those orchestrations.
Act 1 was such a mess.
And then it's like, yeah. I mean, I guess that's one difference, right? Like, Act 1, we had pretty much our whole songs done pretty much, but we're just trying to record good copies in a studio. Knock Knock was kind of like, we did single takes, but then we kind of had the song mostly done.
Yeah.
And then Act 2, like, we definitely, like, we've got, it's more probably in the most roughest state before we've entered the studio, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah, it is.
But I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very much in my own world, sort of, with Act 1, which is like the big problem that I had with the first one, which I've learned my lesson for this one going forward. So
Well, like,
that's a lesson to like all drummers: don't serve yourself, serve the song.
There you go.
The fills are better than this one. I remember Brandon
Fills?
roasted you for the fills, but the
Yeah. Well, you were going to say something?
oh no, I was just going to say as well, that time in general, wasn't that like the first time? I mean, like driving into that location was like so stressful. I think like the traffic and then like, when you're fatigued and you've got so much on your brain, it makes it hard to do your thing if you're like, lacking on sleep, if you're really hungry, if you're like, oh my God, what's going on? So
Yeah.
I feel for you.
A lot of fuel too.
Yeah.
Fuel, yeah.
All the fuel,
yep.
rough as.
That time where I'm not going to say what I'm going to say.
Didn't your tire like when you guys in the car together and you
That did
ran over
happen,
now?
yeah, that
you
did
know,
happen.
I just got a nail in my tire like
Oh.
2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
fun!
Like, what's up with nails? Get out of our tires.
I guess, because I just remembered, like, with Act 1, right, that was, and this is a question I think we got on the Discord about, like, how long the projects have kind of been scoped and stuff, but it's like,
Yep.
with Act 1, you were in the original lineup for, like, BDC, and so you already written all your drum parts to that version of BDC.
Yeah.
And so, like, I guess that was, like, not to, like, say that you're completely marching off, like, to the beat of your own drums, but, like, you were kind of, that was kind of what you had in mind, half of it, right? When you were working.
As in like for reworking the parts for Act
yeah,
1.
reworking the parts. Like, you had that
Well,
as a basis.
I had that as a jumping off point, but then like I would
Yeah.
listen back to it and be like, I should maybe change this, I should maybe change that.
I think that was one of the things with the whole Act 1 production process that, like, I would almost say, like, I wish it was even more different. Like, because I feel like
Yeah,
we did
fair.
get, like, when we've had these parts for so long, it's like, we definitely got used to them. I mean, I got used to some of my old parts that I did.
It was one of the mistakes that I made, and like beginner drummers often do this too. Is like they'll like learn some like super cool pattern, like I don't know, like two in the hands, two in the feet, which is like very common, like some rock music.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, that's just a random example. And we're like, ooh, this part is so cool. I want to use it in the song. Thing is, does it work for the song? That's what you got to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the difference between like serving the song versus just serving yourself.
Yeah.
Is that you have to like think objectively, will it work?
I mean, there are some parts in Act 2 that are like, it is kind of just being a bit showy and like excessive. Like,
Yeah, I
you know
get
what I'm
that.
talking about there. But
But
but I think sometimes that is.
Yeah, but like
that is cool
sometimes,
sometimes.
yeah, but I'm trying to like do it in a way where it's like, you know, tastefully flashy, so
Yeah.
to speak.
yeah, no, I think
I think it's okay, like in moderation.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think like with that, it's like if Brandon and I, or even Luke or Caitlin, can like mess around, like and do things that are a bit over the top. Like I don't see why the drums can't do that too.
Yeah.
And it's like as long as it's like the thing about like the drums in this is like we don't want it to be necessarily just like
Fade
just
in-
play a beat
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
move on to the next bit. Like we want you to have as much control
Yeah,
of like how
absolutely.
it goes through. And I think that's got to make it like more interesting in general.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
Yeah.
it's nice to know that there's a person behind the instrument. It's like, there's Joel. Look at Joel. Look at Joel go.
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm gonna like time edit the drums, like that's like the biggest thing that you can keep. You know, that I reckon like just keep as much as the fills you want, keep as much as the actual patterns themselves. Like at the end of the day, that's kind of I feel like what can translate really well as like you as a player. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, not that I time edited it like to oblivion,
Which
but, like,
is as well, I feel like a lot of the audience, like, can you just clarify what you mean by that? Because someone's going to be like, what does that mean?
oh, so,
Especially
like,
if you're not a musician
Yeah,
or
okay,
like
good
production.
Good point.
Just like in terms of time editing, it's like, you know, you'd want to be as close to the click, at least for in our music, we want to be as close to the click as possible. But Joel is a human. He's not a.
Like,
He's not a
yeah, like
robot.
have the notes as like well evenly spaced, and not
Yeah,
make
that
it
kind
sounds
of
like there's
thing.
like some parts where I'm like being too slow or being too fast.
Yeah. So
kinda
like,
deal.
yeah, and so it's okay to have some of it like rushing or dragging like a little bit ahead of the click or behind the click. That's fine, but it's just like if everything else, if it's like if it feels wrong with everything, like somehow it just rubs against the other tracks in the song in a way which doesn't just feels and sounds messy, then it's
Yeah.
like then we need to kind of nudge some sort of like some snare hits or kicks in the right spot.
Like, it's better to, I mean, especially when we have, like you said, the kind of music that we play. Like, if, you know, you've written a bunch of, like, orchestrations, I mean, that's going to be able to, you know, snap right to the, you know, on the beat, whatever. And so it's better to be, you know, slightly moving, you know, the drums, than having to move everything else to match up with the drums. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Speaking
I
from
hope that,
experience, Caitlin.
I hope that
They just need to be solid.
I don't want to talk about that. But
No, it's another day. It's another day.
yeah,
Yeah.
one day when we'll do a vocal episode, I will talk about that.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I mean, well, I guess we only have at the time of this recording, we've got only two to three more tracks
Yeah.
left.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 pretty
Yeah.
much.
How are you feeling about the last two songs? One of them's like 7 minutes.
I mean, some of the parts repeat itself, so like it should be
Sure.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, well, can I say the name?
Bleep that out.
Bleep that out. Sorry.
Can't say it. You're out of time. We're about
Yeah.
to play.
Well, like,
it,
okay,
And they were just like, nah, you don't have
Okay.
enough time.
okay.
Yeah.
Just like cut this in. Like one of the tracks in particular, like has a bunch of repeating parts where it's just the same part for like the chorus, verse,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah, so it is
But,
a
yeah.
really long song, but in terms of complexity, there are definitely harder songs.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, let's say...
Do you want
What?
to? Yeah, sorry.
I
Yeah.
was just going to ask Joel one more thing.
Yeah, okay.
Go for it.
Any last
So,
words?
say there is a drummer out there who is in a band, and he's about to go into the studio to record his drums. What would be some of the advice based on what you've learnt and your experiences, that you would give this person who's going into the studio for the first time?
Oh, that's interesting. This doesn't just apply to drums. I think this is just life. Like, communication just solves most of your problems. Like, if that's usually what happens, because there's probably like one person just isn't in the loop of what you're doing, unless you actually go out of your way to tell them. And like, that's just the main thing with like so many of the problems that you have that just can be fixed. So just letting people know this is what I'm doing, and then other people can be like this part is cool. I could probably play this to work around it, instead of just trying to like expect everyone to work around you, so to speak. So yeah, just talk to your bandmates. Like, make sure just they're on the same page as you.
Also,
vice versa.
Also the recording engineers, yeah. That's
Yes.
probably as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Everyone be talking to everyone. I mean, the vibes in the room, they matter. Because I think that impacts you. That impacts your performance, you know. And also, don't forget to eat lunch.
Yeah, that's
This is a
very
hungry boy
important.
over here. That's a hungry boy. So,
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, or shall we go into questions?
I mean, do people care about gear talk, but we don't talk about gear talk?
Yeah, let's do a bit of gear
Good.
talk.
okay.
Limit it to 2 minutes.
I
2
don't know.
minutes.
I don't know. All I can really say is like I'm still using the same Tama Swingstar kit that I've been using for a while. We'll want to get it upgraded someday, but like it's served me well for a while. I'm obsessed with Minel. All the cymbals I use are Minel. I've upgraded all of them. The hi-hats was the last thing I finally managed to upgrade. Yeah, they're great. And I don't know, just using Remo heads for all the heads, Remo ambassadors for the toms, and ambassador vintage for the snare. This one, the snare itself is a Tama Star Classic Maple Birch, 16.5 by 14 inches. Using Vic Firth and
Specs.
Vic Firth sticks and 3As.
Yep.
And that's about it.
All right.
I think that was under 2 minutes, yep.
Nailed it.
All right. What's the next upgrade for you?
Probably the drums itself, I
yeah.
reckon.
The
My
whole
snare
kit.
is already a Tama
Oh.
Star Classic, so I might get a same one,
Okay.
just so it fits the color scheme.
Nice.
Nice. That's
They're not
very
gonna
good.
go-
I just remember you saying how much of my snare just stands out to the rest of the kit.
It's so pretty though.
Because it's just like a brown and dark brown color compared to just all black with the kit.
You wouldn't want to go like kind of Frankenstein with it and just have different parts. Like every part of your
Oh.
kit just looks different.
You'd hurt so many people. So many people.
Good.
Although I guess like you kind of want to. I mean, Nick, I don't kind of get how people mix and match like drums, like drum parts. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like they usually if they're all part of the same. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they're all part of the same, like they're sold as a kit, it's because they work cohesively, right? So you must like really.
Kinda.
No.
But like, it doesn't really matter like what the shells are that you're using. It's just as long as like how you treat those drums, what heads you give it, and how you tune it and all that.
Right. Okay.
That's how you make it good.
Oh.
So like
Okay.
you'll have like drum teachers tell you about like, yeah, start with like I can't remember if it was like cymbals or snare first, and then gradually towards the end, upgrade the main shells, which is like kick drum, the toms and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Because you can make cheap drums sound great, but bad cymbals will sound bad forever.
Good
Is-
advice.
Are there any changes you'd actually make to your overall like kit actually? Because at the moment you're using like what is your setup at the moment with your
You mean
like what do you have in your
like
kit? that you have?
functionality?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Right.
You got your snare, you got your kick.
I mean, I do really like cymbals, so I'd probably get like I don't know, like a stack or something. To like, it's more of like an auxiliary kind of cymbal.
Yeah,
With
right.
just a bit more texture for it.
Yeah.
But yeah. As
You're-
for the
yeah.
as for the drums itself, I don't know if I'd get more toms or something. It's fun having like a lot of toms to just go down the drums. But
I guess it's worse to transport.
yeah, probably just more of a nightmare for the engineer
Just
for
Yeah.
mixing.
just
That's true.
installs like rototoms onto it.
Yeah. But cymbals just use all the same like overhead mics.
Yeah.
That just
that's true.
makes it easier. It's just all sharing the same mic. Yeah,
So you would get another cymbal,
probably.
a stack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You would.
Right.
You would.
All right.
yeah.
That
Some
is-
kind of auxiliary thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Any last words before we head into the next?
Any last words?
I think we can go into questions.
Yeah. Let's go over these
All right.
questions.
So
Give me questions!
We put out a call out in our Discord. by the way, if you want to join the Black Dime Cabaret Discord, you can do that. I think you can do that by going to our website.
You can do most things on the website.
You can do everything on the website. So if you go there, you can definitely find the Discord. You can also find our Patreon, which we post stuff to every now and then, some exclusive content. But yeah, some of our Discord peeps and also on Instagram asked us some questions. So
Yeah, thanks for the people who like it was so
Yeah.
short notice. Like even I
Yeah.
didn't know we were doing this,
Yeah.
and then I just like
I just did it on a whim.
yeah. The first question comes from Black Dime Cabaret.
Which
Black
we,
Time Cabaret.
for context, we've got little
Yeah.
nicknames in the Discord. It's really fun. If you join,
Yeah.
you can make your own witty name. I'm in. who am I?
Incatations.
I'm Incatations.
Yeah. I'm a Pat in France, which people won't probably understand
that
the reference,
reference.
but yeah, eventually it will
Yeah.
come to light.
Am I allowed to say the name? Is the song even out? I mean, we performed it.
Wait, what
already.
is your
Oh,
name?
the
Yeah, we
great
did.
Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the great Johnny South.
Yeah.
And,
I'm proud of that one.
Brand without morality.
yeah.
And then Luke is
What is Luke?
what
Lies
is
of Lucian.
yeah, license.
Nice.
He did a deep cut. Deep cut.
Very deep.
All right, so first question from Black Dime
Not even the
Cabaret,
Black Dime song, I think.
Well.
what is y'all process for writing songs and what DAW do you use?
Okay, that's a good question. As quickly as possible, our process is I make a really rough demo, then I bring it into the band, and we all kind of write our own parts.
Hey, stop the leg
Um,
jiggle.
And then that's it. We play it a few times. Then we make a good demo that's pretty close to how we want the song
Yeah.
to sound.
Yeah.
And then once we have a really good demo, we go into the studio and finish up.
Although I guess in this case we're kind of doing for Act 2 right now. It's sort of this weird quasi demo thing, right? Where it's like
This is
we've written our demo, which
yeah.
was kind of our first demo was pretty good already.
Yeah.
If you don't count like the original demo,
Yeah.
and then we're kind of like building on that.
Yeah.
Now that we've got like the drum tracks for some of the songs already, we've just been building on top of that now.
You can
Yeah.
just work around that pretty much. Yeah.
And what door? So we all use different
already
doors.
mentioned it.
So I use Studio One.
I use the front door.
Yep.
Just kidding.
Someone's
we
gonna
should
make that
bleep
joke.
that out.
Oh, I see.
No, we should keep that just for the dad joke.
I use the cutest looking music software as possible so I can say "Daw."
Nice. And what about you, Pat?
I'm a Cubase user,
Cubase.
and I'm gonna forever torment Brandon for that.
Yeah,
Although we did get Ableton recently for our live.
we did. Haven't even used it yet. We haven't opened
We
it.
bought it and we haven't used it. It's just existing there, the license.
Yeah, but we will use it.
Yeah, so we're using that like for our live.
Yeah.
We've been using Studio One, right?
Yeah, it's
just the
terrible.
sessions.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to use Ableton just for like to. I honestly I don't really know
Everything.
But I'm
Just backing
trusting
tracks.
Brandon.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
And-
I used I used to use Logic Pro. That's why I use Studio One, because when I moved over from Mac to Windows, I basically just looked for like what is the closest door to Logic Pro. But if I still used like exclusively Mac, I like honestly Studio One or Logic Pro is like pretty good still. So I might even still be using that if I never moved.
Not better, just still pretty good.
They're on the same level.
I mean, I hear Macs are great for
that
like
copium?
music production and all that
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're like not as likely to crash compared to Windows.
Yeah, I mean, all the studios we've gone to, I'm pretty sure they all use Macs.
Yeah, they all use Macs pretty much.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's right.
And
It still
Yeah.
crashes depending on the. Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't crash as much. It's just they don't
Yeah.
want you getting into their ecosystem with the computers and all that.
Yeah.
I was also going to say that Black Time Cabaret might have been speaking about, writing the songs more themselves rather than production, but we can go into that
I mean,
at a later date.
I mean, I can say like my actual writing process is like a lot of voice memos, usually with like acoustic guitar.
And are you singing probably the melodies before
I
you...
sing. Well, I
Sometimes
used to
pop up.
just write. For Act 1, I just wrote the melodies because then someone else did lyrics. But these days, I kind of do lyrics and music at the same time.
Which is essentially Knock Knock 1 and part part one, part two. Yeah.
Well, do you start with like what the story is supposed to be first and then work around that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
even before that, I have the story first. Then although for Act 2, I did the Act 1 process of writing all the music. Then I wrote all the lyrics after.
Should we? I think this is a good stopping point for now because I feel like we could talk about this and go into more of a deep
Yeah,
cut
100%.
of this. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
We're
Actually.
already going down
But
deep
I
down
mean,
the
if we
rabbit
haven't
hole.
answered your
Can talk
question,
about that forever.
Black Dun Carteret, will, if you would be so kind to write another message when it comes around to the
Yeah.
next one,
Yes.
Please do,
more
please
about the
do.
actual, I guess, writing song process. Because I feel like we, Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for your question.
the next one is from Festival of Witches. The songs from Act 1 have been bouncing around in various forms for years. How long have the songs from Act 2 been around? It's evidently been at least a bit. You made your comeback with Man Without Morality and played a couple on some old live shows on YouTube, but how long have you been sitting on them by comparison? How much have they changed in that time? There's an extra question, but I'll come back to that in a second. Yeah, so I guess the question is really, how long is our production line?
It's too long.
Oh, it's too long.
How long do we spend overthinking the song?
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, Act 2, I wrote these songs in around the same time as I was working on Act 1. So these are from like 2019, early 2020.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, by the time this lineup formed, like the start of this lineup formed.
They were already done.
Yeah, so Act 2 was already done, and that's like, what, it's 3 years already?
Pretty crazy.
Well,
Except
four-
for
4 years.
4 years, because then I would have, wait,
Well, I mean, I started writing these in
Oh my God,
2019.
I'm feeling
and
my
then
age, yo.
we all got together in
20.
2020.
Well, you
20
started
late
like
2020.
Act 2 like
November
late
for
2019, I
me,
take it.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when you said that you started working on it because you had just had plenty of ideas for it.
Yeah.
5-year development now.
Except for there's one song on Act 2 that was written later.
Yes.
Yeah. And the title for it as well, but I won't spoil it
Oh.
yet.
Oh.
I've probably already like said it somewhere.
So I guess, you know,
Probably.
if we're,
I
if,
can't remember if you did, whatever.
Yeah.
if we're making like kind of like a time, like giving you an actual like sort of time, rough time estimate sort of thing, like
This
you
well,
finished Act 1, like when did you start Act 1 then?
Act 1 was 2019.
2019, and then we
Act 2 was 2019
finished
as
it
well.
in 2023.
Yeah, but like that's not our usual production process. That's
No,
just
no, yeah.
because we're like trying to get caught up to date.
So it's a 4-year. So from
Yeah.
2019 to 2023, if we're trying to finish Act 2
Yeah.
by the end of this, like hopefully soon,
Yeah.
then I guess you can expect it's a 4-year turnaround
Yeah.
for these two. But I think, yeah, like we've done Knock Knock 1, Part 1,
Yeah.
Part 2. That was like a matter of like 2 or 3 months. Granted, when we're actually like properly focusing on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a
And-
different story compared to like standalone singles versus
Yeah.
the whole album.
Yeah.
There's so much less commitment. Like you don't have to. It like in some ways it's nice because it's like it doesn't feel like a colossal work,
Yeah.
which is Act 2 at the moment, where it feels like I'm like I don't even know if I can get this done.
Yeah, it's
But-
crazy. The other question was how much have they changed in that time?
Yes.
Um,
Some songs have
I don't know.
changed. Like if we're talking about Act 1,
I mean, there was like the Lady Midnight big changes.
Death Waltz,
I mean,
Yay.
you can hear all the changes.
Yeah,
a lot
those-
of them
yeah.
on the website
Yeah,
as
actually, they're
well.
up there.
Like Brandon goes through like early stages.
Yeah.
So if you're curious about that, that's website great place to be.
It's like
Yeah.
a
Check it
death
out.
metal scream and Ode to
Yeah.
Lady Midnight that we changed.
Yeah.
I would say that Act 2. I don't know if like I can say like it's changed because like it was just like a demo for forever.
It's almost like it's barely begun. There are some songs
It's not like
that
they've been being worked on.
yeah.
I feel like they just have more. I think in like ages ago I said that like they were a little bit more like kind of
Stripped back.
stripped back or meditative, more intimate. But to be honest, at this rate, it's kind of just
They're
going.
getting
It's ballooning
bigger.
again.
They're
Yeah.
getting bigger,
But I'm not.
bigger, bigger.
At least I'm a fan of it though, because
Yeah.
but
I like it.
The drama, the chaos.
it feels more. I think it like because I feel like Act 1 was like this. We kind of hit a sort of. I think it is a difference between a cabaret and a theater, in some ways, where like it feels like very like we're kind of just throwing ideas in Act 1, but Act 2 feels a bit more like this is a little bit more
Serving the song.
high class. Does
Exactly.
that make sense?
Yeah.
For like lack of a better words, but it feels like it's more. I don't know. Like, do you feel like that, Brandon? Like, it feels like Act One was kind of like we threw a lot of things together, hoping it sort of stick, and then two, we're like trying to like. We're still kind of throwing things, but we're trying to like make it sound as polished as possible anyway, though.
Yeah, I think we're just looking. I mean, I like personally, I have like a different way of like looking at how we're making music now versus how we were doing it in Act One. Where Act One was just like we're just making songs, and it doesn't matter as much about how it sounds. Like it's just like we're just throwing ideas in. But the way I'm thinking about Act Two is like there is like a certain bar or standard of quality and professionalism, and like detail and perfection that I think I am like trying to achieve with these songs. That's what I'm bringing to it. And yeah, I think we are thinking more deeper about how does this all work together and how is it serving the overall vision that we have for the songs.
Just need that insert meme of like that blue button. It's just like leitmotif, leitmotif. But yeah, yeah. I mean, again, we could probably go over this more in like another episode later. The clown has asked, how far ahead do you plan out?
Oh, and the extra.
About the
Oh,
extra
Oh,
question.
sorry, I completely forgot that. So, extra question is, any potential news about Gentleman Catherine Point 2, or just Gentleman 2, and any other outside of BDC projects anyone's working on and just excited about?
Gentleman Catherine 2 is... It is... I'm waiting for the right moment.
When the mood is
What does that
right.
moment look like? Is it for like
Is
inspiration or
it
something?
the moment that we win $1 million, so we don't have to be so stressed and work?
There
Jobs
certain
we dislike.
things, certain other storylines have to happen before I can do Gentleman Catherine 2.
Yeah, I know people really, like, the Discord people have been really receptive to it, which is nice.
Yeah.
They're like,
I know what the story
Yeah,
is for it. I'll say that.
yeah, that's cool.
Other projects.
Outside projects. Joel, what have you been... Do you have any projects?
Aren't they confidential?
Oh, yeah, they are confidential, never mind.
I know.
Well, like the stuff I'm doing for other
Signed
people
an
is
NDA.
confidential.
Yeah.
But like in terms of my own personal stuff, not really at the moment.
Busy
I'd like
man,
to.
Busy man.
This has become a... I mean, to be honest, Act 2 at the moment is like my top of my list of priorities.
Yeah.
I hope to do another sort of small EP thing by the end of the year.
Ooh.
If I'm not burnt out from Act 2. I know Luke was kind of working on some stuff as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's sad he broke his streak of like of releasing something every year because, yeah, BDC.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Caitlin, are you releasing or working on anything?
I've got a lot of little bits and pieces and a lot of hopes and dreams, but I struggle in the taking action department because I get existential and I freak out all the time over anything. So it's a whole big pickle, but yeah, I've got a lot of stuff of my own that is not connected to BDC, but is connected to me. So,
I mean,
It's good stuff.
My stuff isn't, so
Yeah.
but
mean,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, you can go.
I was also gonna say, but in a similar way, how there's like BDC universe, which is something that like really drew me in to Black Diamond Cabaret in the first place, because I'm a very story person. So I did used to have, I still have it. I drew a world map, like for my songs, and where everyone lives in it. This is like this whole big little fantasy world that exists in my head, and nobody knows.
Well, it's more so the case with me that like projects are just in limbo at the moment. Because like I've had one which I've not don't want to say too much about, but like I'm sure Brandon knows about it from like way back in 2020 or something, like big animation project. Whereas like I just have the script ready and all that, but I'm like I don't know how to fix this, but I definitely know it needs fixing, and it's just been in limbo forever because I don't know how to fix it. But I'll fix it at some point.
I did actually. I don't know if I can
Like-
say this, But I think I did actually get asked by a friend of ours to just record like some vocals for like gang vocal part. So I
So
might
look out
link
for
that.
that.
I mean, you won't hear my voice anyway because there'll be gang vocals. But you know, like
I'll be able to
when
hear
that
you,
comes
Pat.
around. Yeah.
Cool.
Got an ear for picking out Pats.
Which is gonna, I think, might be an interesting. Yeah, might be an interesting song to listen to.
Yeah, nice.
It's only for like 10, 20 seconds, because like, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's something I've done besides BEC stuff.
cool.
Next question. So, how far ahead do you plan out what projects BDC will be working on? Where do you see BDC in 1, 3, 5 years? God, I find this is like I was joking about this because we read this and I'm like, this just feels like a corporate like.
What's your biggest
Like,
weakness?
where do you see yourself in like 5,
Yeah.
10 years?
Well,
yeah.
who wants to answer this?
I think this is really about you, Brandon. So.
I'll answer. I'll answer the first part. How far ahead do you plan out what projects we're working on? Usually, well, from this point forward, it's probably like, I mean, we know that next year will be Act 3, and beyond that, we don't know anything. So, yeah.
So I just read the last question that like Caitlin added, but so
Yeah. So we know Act 3 will be next year,
yep.
and we don't have we have plans. Like, it'd be good to have reached this milestone, like in terms of like
Definitely.
Getting your name out there and all that.
I don't think
Yeah.
we've thought about like.
we don't know what the next project is.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like so. Maybe a year. We've sort of thought about what we do in a year, but we haven't really thought about like 3 or 5 years in advance because it's in this economy. Just kidding. No, but yeah.
I want to tour at some point. I don't know when that day is going to happen, but we would need enough people to even care enough about us to
We go
even
to
do
South
that.
America.
Yeah.
Well, it would have to start off like domestically first,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we were gonna like try to do a, you know, not outer stuff, like rural.
Oh,
kind
like
of thing.
Victorian sort
Yeah.
of. Yeah, we were thinking
Yes.
about that.
Well, I contacted a bunch of venues. Nobody responded.
Yeah,
Okay.
Literally,
Oh,
no
that's
one
sad.
responded.
it's pretty sad.
Well,
So maybe gotta wait. Maybe that's
Road
the
trip
one
up to
that's in 5
Sydney?
years. Maybe in
Yeah.
5 years, people will care.
Let's see what happens after we release this album.
so we have a Instagram question. We got a couple Instagram questions. The first one I'm going to ask is
Well, this is in Discord. This person is Lady Midnight, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was trying to figure out. I'm like, how do I go about this?
Yeah.
So Lady Midnight has asked, what inspired you to set the story in 19th century France?
France.
France.
That is a good question.
You played Assassin's Creed Unity and then you were first. Yeah, I'm kidding. No.
I don't know.
I mean, I think like my
is it the most likely era to have witches in it? Is
I
that
think
why?
I just wanted to find an era that could almost be like a fantasy. So I wanted to have it kind of, you know, set quite far away, both in terms of time and place.
But I mean, like if we look
Just the vibes.
if we look at history as well, it's like a very interesting time period. Like just that
Yeah.
that period because it does set like a lot of things. It's like it is a powder keg because like after that a lot of historical revolutions start occurring. So it's a very interesting time to go through. Like,
Yeah, I
to
feel like it's
tell a story in.
it's a time where the events of Black Diamond Cabaret make sense to happen in.
Don't worry, we still have tanks. That will be addressed later.
Yes.
All right, so I think that wraps up that one.
Yeah,
for now.
thanks for the
we can go
question.
into a deep cut of like the whole writing, the actual narrative of BDC one day.
Yeah.
Fox Salazar, I have two. First, what is the name of the musical genre that you play?
Lawcore?
like that.
Lawcore.
I don't even know.
I started to say I think like theatrical prog rock. That was just all I've
Yeah.
just said
It's
recently.
just
Yeah.
easier to say prog rock.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I can
I
communicate it to some people.
I tend to throw in the theatrical as
Yeah,
well.
because otherwise
people think
people
like
think Tool
Yeah.
or like Dream
Yeah.
Theater.
or maybe like Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like isn't really what
Thing
we're
is,
doing.
it's easier to just say alternative rock because the average person is more likely to know what that is over prog rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
true. I asked someone asked
Yeah.
me at work.
I
that-
just
about
I just
that.
say like technical like theatrical prog, alternative rock, not prog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, well,
pretty
I
good.
throw musical as well in there sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
got a musical sort of thing to it.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing when like you're comparing our band to other bands.
Yeah.
Because like we're not gonna heard of like, I don't know, Coheed or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, we just sound like Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
That's Act 1. Act 2 is like kind of. I mean, actually, no. Act 2 is just what is it? Pretty hard.
Pretty odd. Yeah.
So-
But without fucking around, because no, I don't want to curse that song, but
Yeah.
it's not the vibe as much.
The other question they had was more about Knock Knock. I think. Oh wait, more in Knock Knock actually.
Yeah, what's the genre of knock knock? That's
Christmas.
Christmas.
It's just Christmas song. It's
The
a Christmas
genre is
song I can
just-
listen to for once.
It's like Christmas meets death.
There you go. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Death Christmas.
yes.
Christmas horror rock.
All right.
Yeah.
Well.
That's good.
Yeah. So musical, theatrical, potentially alt rock, prog rock.
Yeah.
Specifically for Knock Knock, it's Christmas
Death.
and death.
Christmas and death.
Christmas death.
Christmas death.
Christmas death.
Christmas death. Okay. All right. And where do you get your inspiration for your? I think we kind of answered that, but we can always go about
Yeah.
that for another thing further into it. Lujin Toby 04. Favorite BD song from each one. So is that like specifically for our like
Like each member.
Individually,
or like
probably.
in the album? Do you want to? Okay, so if we quickly go around, one that you like playing, one that you hate playing, and then one that you actually like you would listen to like the most.
Okay.
Okay, you go first.
All right, we'll start with Brandon.
I like playing. Oh, Jesus, it's hard.
Maybe we'll keep it to Act 1 and the knock.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can't talk about Act 2 yet.
Well, the song that I like playing is probably it'll probably be like Neff Schemes or Festival, one of those two songs. I haven't really played Knock Knock 1 and 2 that much, but I'd say my least favorite song to play is Autumn, and my favorite song that I would actually listen to is maybe Knock Knock.
Knock Knock.
Knock knock one.
Maybe. I'm starting to like it.
I mean, there's a reason why it's doing all right. So. All right, Caitlin.
Me. Oh, okay. What's the first question?
So song that you
Okay.
like to play, song that you don't like to play, and song that
I like.
you
Song. Okay. Song I like to play.
or sing, I guess.
What'd you say?
Sing.
Sing.
Sing. Okay. I do think Nefarious Schemes is really fun. Although actually there's something I really like about Clown, which Clown everyone's
Clown might be the one that I hate playing the most, actually.
but it's like
that song.
there's just I love oh shit. Sorry. I forgot. How does the bridge go? Is there a quiet bridge in that? Or is that just a beat?
Hold
sync?
your cards
close to your chest.
It's okay. I mean, I just love like singing, going into the ending.
The final chorus of the
It's okay.
climax.
Yeah,
of the
and it just
song.
like
Yep.
it sets the scene. It's like all the pictures come alive in my head. So
Wait for the leitmotif in
Yeah.
in one of the Act 2 songs. All right, but yeah.
so I don't know. But however, no, this is really hard because Incantations, the verse is really fun to sing as well. But anyway, song I don't like to play.
I know which one this is.
Are you sure? Okay. Well,
Is it not just that one song?
The Great Manipulator.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Because I just have to be like, oh, I have to look like I'm doing stuff now. And I can sing along, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? What am I even doing? Like, sometimes I just have an existential crisis on stage. Like, I have too much idle time in Great Manipulator. However, and sometimes Autumn just sits a bit like funny. I like it when we play it a bit faster, I think.
I genuinely thought that you were going to say Death
Waltz?
Waltz
You know what? It was actually fun.
live that one time.
It actually was.
It wasn't the worst thing.
The stakes are so
Yeah.
high.
Wasn't the worst.
Yeah, I did
But
used
you
to
haven't
hate.
played it enough for it to
yeah.
get on your nerves.
I did used to hate doing Lynch Mob a little bit because of the repetitions in melodies.
And the vocals,
Yeah.
like the lyrics at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
We changed it.
Yeah,
and
then I
like,
rewrote them, and I was like, okay, I dig it now. Anyway,
song that you would listen to the most, or like you actually like listening to the most.
probably Neff Schemes and Festival. Is there a key song we've missed talking about?
We've got Knock Knock. We've
Black
got BDC.
Have we talked about Black
BDC.
Time?
Oh, BDC. You know what? I love singing like the bridge of BDC and all that, but I feel like the recording of it does not do it justice. And this is something that I did want to talk about in Festival's thing about how the songs have changed, which is they change a lot based on how the more you perform it, the more you're like, oh, okay. I feel like this is how this should have went.
Yeah.
And my character, like I can hear myself like just thinking in BDC in particular. And I'm like, that could have been a lot more fun. Like
Yeah, right.
the studio
The more
version.
time you spend with it, the more you notice about like what you don't like about it.
That is true. Yeah. But
Alright.
I
Yeah.
feel like that could have been a lot more fun to listen to if I was having more fun in the moment, perhaps.
Yeah.
But
Joel?
move along, Joel.
Cool. I think I just have trauma from that one time we played Nefarious Schemes when Brandon's string broke, and
We
I was
don't
just
talk
playing the
about
same
that.
tom groove during the intro for like 10 minutes.
And I was just
Then
talking
what
shit.
about-
I should have just improv some stuff and like just let it be bad in hindsight.
Well, what's a song that you actually really like playing then? Like every time you go to play it live, you actually like, I really want to play this one.
Well, I feel like am I allowed to say the name because it's an Act 2 song?
It has to be an Act 1 song. Or
I mean,
Knock
it's
Knocks.
like well, it's a song that we've played before. So
No,
if that
we're not
helps.
counting that. We're not counting it.
Nah.
Okay, well, just know that you'll get Joel's answer when you get Act 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well, there's a song on Act 2 that's like pretty funky, but I enjoy playing.
Cool.
It's like straight 4/4 time, and I just like have some fun with the jump parts since they've been revamped recently for this
Alright.
new one.
you just made me think we forgot to talk about Lady Midnight.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's
Is that
one
going
of
to
my
change anything?
Yeah, that's one of my faves.
I do enjoy playing Lady Midnight
Yeah.
and like the song in general.
I
I don't know. It's like the more alt rock song on the album, which is probably a bit more closer to the kind of stuff I was
Yeah.
listening to growing up.
More accessible.
Instead of song that you like least to play, which one do you think is your hardest song to play?
I think I remember like Festival is a sweat to go through because it's a very fast song. Because I just have some fills in there where I'm like, and it's just like it gets your heart rate up.
I mean,
It just gets exhausting pretty quick.
I was like, this is like a slight tangent, but it's like, it's kind of like the whole kind of J rock sort of thing where it's like, there isn't, like, if you listen to Western rock music, I don't like using Western rock or just J rock, but like, if you listen to Western rock, right, it's like, the tempo is not that fast, but you can get away with it in Japanese rock because, like, in terms of vocals and stuff, the lyrics and the language is very segmented, and so you can get away with faster lyrics. Whereas when you try to do that in English, it gets quite hectic. Because they have to like say things really fast, which is kind of what happens in at that verse in Festival,
Well,
the
and
pre-chorus.
Nefarious.
Yeah.
Dances twirling
Yeah.
blissfully unaware. Dances twirling blissfully unaware.
Yeah. So anyway,
It's the thing with like a Japanese math rock is that like the rest of the parts will be chill, but the drums are just going crazy.
all right. Song that you
Joel,
like listening
you're-
to the most?
You're glowing. This is your moment.
It's like a halo on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Song you like listening
So
to
like
the
Black
most.
Time song I enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Lady Midnight. I
Lady Midnight.
brought
Can't
that
believe
up.
we just forgot about that.
Yeah,
Crazy.
It's my least. Okay, it's not my
Yeah.
least favorite song.
and I said my reasons why.
Favorite song to play? It's probably a brain dead take, but it would probably be Festival or Lynch Mob. I don't know. I find Lynch Mob fun because it's just so high energy that I'm just like enjoying playing it.
Wow.
Clown. Yeah, no, I think Clown's definitely lower, but I'm trying to think of the song that I least like to play.
Death Waltz? We should have had the CD in
Autumn?
front of us.
Autumn, and
Which is a song that hits different.
no, I'm thinking about the one that I'd least like to play. I think it's probably sort of actually it might be Incantations actually, because I feel like we just don't play it enough, and it's just so long that I'm just like,
Is it just the thought of playing it that's just like overwhelming? It's just
Yeah,
gonna make it a slog.
I'd say so.
I feel like the
yeah.
never hits right live, and it makes me feel like
Yeah.
every
yeah.
time we play it.
Okay, maybe I'll change my mind. If
Yeah.
there's two camps of songs I like playing. There's the camp where it's super energetic and fun, which is like kind of like not technically difficult, but sort of veering that stage, which is Festival and Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
But then actually, I think I do actually enjoy BDC and Nef Schemes because I feel like I can actually I have less pressure to just play technically well,
It
and
feels like
I'm just
fun.
vibing at that
It's
point.
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I'd split it. So that's 4 songs, but song that I don't like to play that much is probably Incantation, on a virtue that we just don't play it much, and it feels like a bit of a slog because it's just super long. The song that I like listening to the most, I don't know. I haven't listened to the album recently.
Exposed.
Actually, no, I did listen to the album like a couple days ago in the car. Maybe it is actually just Lynch Mob. I don't know why. I know this is a hot take between you, like with all you guys, but I enjoy listening to it. It's just so angsty. I like it.
Yeah, that's fair. I was tempted to say Lynch Mob. I'm like, no, I don't want to say that one. That was just too simple.
I
of an
feel
I'm
answer.
liking it for the wrong
Yeah.
reasons, really.
I feel like it is like, you know, it's nice like listening to a song where I'm like, oh, like I wrote this part, like I did this thing here. Like same with the ending of Lady Midnight for the same reasons.
yeah.
Like, but I think maybe my delivery on Lynch Mob like isn't as same thing with BDC. I think BDC was one of the earlier ones we did, and Lynch
Yeah.
Mob was one of the very last ones I did, and I was on a day.
you were just out of it.
I'm like I can't, like I'm at my limit.
Yeah, like you kind of were sick. To that through.
Oh yeah.
But I think yeah,
I think that's all of them.
that's
Well, there's one more
There's
question.
one more question, and I would like to.
yes.
You can read this one.
So Ads Noggin said this. Cool name. Why did you cut your hair, Brandon?
I cut my hair because it was just too long.
What is he, Samson? Like,
No, like I mean look, for me, I like to streamline things as much as possible. So there are certain things where, if like spending, it used to take me like say 10 minutes to do my hair. That 10 minutes I could be doing so many other things, but now that I have short hair, I don't even do my hair anymore. So like that's like saving 10 minutes a day, and you never have to worry about it.
I feel that pain.
Yeah.
I do need to
I
get my
kinda
hair
gotta
cut
go.
this, like soon again. It's growing.
Yeah.
It's growing out again. I need to trim it again.
I remember when I started like
Me too.
shaving the sides of my hair when I would go to like the hairdressers. I would like go for a shower. I'm like, I have so much hair, less hair I need to clean.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah,
Also easier to sleep on.
easier to sleep on.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Happy for your.
That's why. All right, and that's all the
That's about it.
I
questions.
love how we
then.
started speaking about hair all of a sudden. We're like,
Just
what a 180 of a
long-
subject.
Wait, what about Luke? What do you think? We can guess it, and then he can talk trash behind the camera later
Oh.
about what we think his favorite songs are.
Do we know what his favorite Act 1 song is, though?
I don't know.
I think we said before, like Nef Schemes or probably.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
I think he does like Great Man actually. Yeah.
He does.
I
He's
like Great Man.
Every time he's always like, I love this song, and I'm always like, aww, and he's like, yay, and I'm like, so
His hot take though. Oh, I can't say that. We'll leave that another day.
I don't know what his hot take is.
Oh, it was about like which one he prefers, the studio version or like the demo version.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
But anyway,
I mean, my hot take is that I think we screwed up Great Man in the studio.
all right, that's another. We're gonna leave it on that.
We all screwed up,
On
okay?
that note, that is the end of the first episode of Dimecast podcast. I've been Brandon.
I've been.
You've been Brad.
I am now Luke.
In
And on that
fact,
bombshell,
in fact, I am still Caitlin, and also just wanted to say thank you for sticking around to the end. And if you have any questions that came up throughout this, please just let us know. Come over to the Discord.
Yeah.
Come to the Patreon.
Discord, Patreon.
Yeah, we'll try to answer them.
hang out.
Yeah.
Thing.
Slay.
We'll have a whale of a time. Yeah. I'm Joel.
Good luck.
I love how I ended with that.
Good luck with the rest of the recording, Joel.
Yes, we've
Yes.
got
Thank
one
you.
session.
I literally have one
maybe
left.
One session.
Just 2.5 songs left
Yeah.
to do.
But it's
It
two
should
and a
be
half.
good.
But it's like one of them's kind of already done.
One of
so
them's
it's kind
done.
of 2 songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've been Pat. And that is
That's that.
all right.
I've-
Bye. As I go to a hole.
He's been Pat, and that is that. I'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Farewell.